A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O God.
When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain. After he sat down, the disciples gathered around. Jesus began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be consoled. Blessed are the meek, those of low status, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they shall have their fill. Blessed are they who show mercy, for mercy shall be theirs. Blessed are the single-hearted, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of justice, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when people insult and persecute you, when they utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great." The good news of our salvation spoken through Matthew. Good morning, beloved community.
Good morning.
You may not remember that I was the homilist last year for the first Sunday of February. I do. Thanks to a surprising feat of organization, I am able to open a folder on my iMac called Prayers, Poems, and Homilies. And yes, there it is, my homily for February 2019. My theme was the miracle of healing, specifically the miracles of healing that we have witnessed in this very community. But time marches on, and even the Holy Roman Church changes its readings, well, at least three-year cycles. That's all right, because we've changed too. In this year of public madness and private sadness, what remains is our dire need of encouragement, hope, and healing. We come in gratitude for the wonder of our spirits and the many in this room, in this city, and more distant corners of our universe who hunger for healing, for mercy, for peace, for reverence, for wholeness. We are grateful that the desire and the hope is still alive in us to seek healing. Needing to be healed is a gift in itself. It teaches us compassion. We are now in a disposition to seek wholeness and care for those to whom we are bound by the very fact we have been created by the same loving God. Zephaniah directs us, "Seek God, all you humble of the earth. Seek justice, seek humility." He is not calling on armies, on princes, but he is alerting the Anawim, the remnant, to stay close to the earth, the humus, the dirt from which you came. God has plans for the weak, to teach the strong, and for the fools, how absurd, to teach the wise. Needing to be healed is our special gift and calling. I have a dear friend who is good and wise, but largely unchurched. And one day she said to me, "I've always wondered about that beatitude, the poor in spirit. How could that be a good thing? What glory does that give God?" Many years have passed, and I have a little more insight. My faith has evolved. I use evolved to describe the change because I find Teilhard de Chardin's idea of evolution quite compelling. He saw that evolution favored the weakest link, not the strongest. The strongest became bloated and overweening and destroyed themselves. Gone are the dinosaurs, while cockroaches thrive and adapt. He proposed that creation's energy is becoming more complex and concentrated as reflected in our relationships. Only love is able to transform us into one. All the while, loving makes us entirely unique. One with each other, we become one with the Godhead, and all of creation rises to the center point, the Omega. Oh, sorry, I got a little obscure and into the weeds there, trying to simplify Teilhard, but let me stay closer to the earth. I know many of you have spent time in places considered underdeveloped. I've heard you express, as I have, that the experience allowed you to feel the reality of the gospel, of God's love and good news. Sometimes slammed you to the ground in wonder at the naked faith and selfless love you witnessed from the humble of the earth, the holy remnant who knew their need for God. They were Paul's community, not many well-born, not powerful. Rather, God chose the lowly and despised, those who count for nothing, to reduce to nothing those who are something. Matthew had that same awareness that Jesus' kingdom was meant for the weak links. To go back to my friend's query, how do the poor in spirit deserve the reward? The followers of Jesus know their need for God, and that is how the kingdom comes to them. They experience God working in their everyday lives, and they are abundantly grateful. Now, since I'm referring to Jesuits, let me give you the insights from three more. The late biblical archaeologist Robert North made an interesting observation many years ago to his students. The reason Christianity isn't working is because we've got too many Christians. Just look at our scriptures. It's clear the gospel Jesus never intended his followers to be more than a very small group. His comment dovetailed with something Karl Rahner, his fellow Jesuit, said. When Christians reach more than 20% of the population, they no longer have any effect in changing the culture around them. At that point, people become Christians just because it's the acceptable thing to do, not because they're really committed to carrying on the ministry of Jesus. Often they're an obstacle to real Christians. A third Jesuit, our dear friend Daniel Berrigan, once commented he always took away points from any college student who dared employ the redundant phrase, radical Christian. If you're a Christian, he insisted, you're automatically radical. So be comforted that you are aware and crying out for healing. Rejoice and be glad, for you are the broken ones, the foolish, the mourners, who are causing the kingdom to evolve, first in your hearts, and then in all to whom you show compassion.